Do you know what? Yeah, big up. Do you know what? I was laughing here because I looked at the picture. I'm like, oh, them eyes ain't really that scary to me.
Please don't tell me you put that together. I know this was a rush stream, but that's like, you do that on clip art or something. That's terrible. I thought the standards were meant to be getting better in this stream. Look at that. It's so like, look at the left side. That's all good. You got, Liverpool, the players in the Liverpool kits. It's all, done nicely, but them eyes, bro, are terrible.
Oh, fucking hell. Do you know what? Let's go with the Champions one. Let's use that one. I'll be honest. I don't know. Or should I go with the Isak background? I don't know. But listen, told you guys we'll be back later. We are back, man. Cav is in the building. I finally get to hear what Cav thinks, man. So much has happened in Liverpool's transfer story in terms of the club itself. Trent left. I don't even know if we spoke when Trent left. I don't even know. Robbo looks like he's about to leave. There was a bid for Alisson, but he turned it down apparently from like Fenerbahce or one of those teams.
Yeah, bro, I swear to God, this is what you blink and something else is happening around Liverpool at the minute.
What else has happened? Liverpool are planning a move for Isak, told him to hold tight. The medical for Kirkes and Florian Wirtz is this week, so Friday. What else has happened? So much has happened, bro. Honestly, like it feels like Liverpool are doing some big stuff, man. But where do you want to start, Camp, man? Because I feel like we ain't even spoke about Liverpool in a minute.
Yeah. Wherever, man. Let's talk about the three lads that we've that look like they're done deals.
Okay, cool.
Kirkes and Florian. I remember, we've this time last year we were having conversations about the potential of Liverpool and what they can achieve with the new coach and that current squad. And sitting here a year later, obviously over the moon, we won a league title. It should be believable, but I can't quite believe how well we've done, and how we've got ourselves to a position whereby now we can go and strengthen from a position of strength, and we can sign these players that are some of the best in the world in their position and look like they've got bright futures, and it looks like it's going to be at our club and pushes even further forward to win more trophies. It's crazy. Like you got to really applaud the people that are at Liverpool and in the higher management for just seamlessly going about their business and managing to move the club forward and continue to progress and build and continue to win things. I know we'd like to win more, but it's a great time for Liverpool, and these signings and the business that's kind of happening so early on in the transfer window is kind of like it's the showpiece for all of that. Of course, yes, we all enjoy watching Liverpool play and winning games and the league title and stuff, but transfers does kind of showcase a lot about how your club's doing in a certain respect. To be able to drop 100+ million on a player like Florian Wirtz is just something we're just not accustomed to. I know we've signed 100%. Alisson in the past and Virgil in the past, and they were great signings and have turned out to be great signings and big money signings, but it's not what we used to. It's not what we're accustomed to. This is out of the blue, and I still kind of can't quite believe that one's happening, to be honest with you. And for me, even signing a player like Frimpong and Kirkes, like I know they're lesser fees, but they're good players, and it seems like it's such. I know we don't see all the work that goes on in the background, but it seems like they've been easy appointments because it's like, well, look at what we do. Like we sell ourselves now. You want to come and join us? We ain't got to convince anybody anymore. So, it's not always been like this. And I just walk around just so much more relaxed because I'm so comfortable with where we are as a club, our ownership, our management, and the players. And then add to that, I'm just so excited about who else. Well, I'm so excited about who might come in. I don't know how I would feel about the players that leave, because there's certainly going to be players that leave. But one thing for sure is come August, when we start the season again, I'm going to be dead excited about what we can achieve.
Nah, that's crazy, because you're right. In terms of the attraction part, for me personally, bro, I still can't believe that we've attracted Florian Wirtz to Liverpool Football Club. I always look at these type of players, and for one, the club don't normally go for them because they're too expensive. The manager we had was Jurgen Klopp, and he doesn't really go for those type of players. He goes for the ones on the brink, maybe getting to that stage of becoming maybe a world-class player or about to take those steps. So we never go for them. So under 10 years of Klopp, like I never looked at it and gone, do you know what, this is amazing. We're gonna go and get this player, that player, this player, that player. It's always been, all right, let's go and get a Mane because he's nearly there, but he's not really there. Mm-hmm. But to go and get someone like him and not only beat Bayern Munich, obviously the reports are now
that's a crazy thing in itself,
bro.
That in itself, I know,
is crazy.
Exactly. Like you talk about signing a player of his quality at such a young age, and he's going to have such a bright future ahead of him, but you're prizing him out of Germany when there was the biggest German club that wanted him as well. I mean, you've got to have some pull to be able to do that because we're so accustomed to these players just being happy to stay in their home country and then just move to Bayern. That's the dumb thing usually, And if the rumors are true that Real Madrid wanted him, which of course they would be, he's a top player, then it goes to show how much Liverpool where they're at in terms of football at the minute, and their stature in the game and how bright the future must look, because a player like Florian Wirtz isn't joining Liverpool unless he thinks that he's going to win stuff here 100%. And now and in the years ahead. I think he'll probably sign on like a 4 or 5 year deal. That takes him to over his mid-20s. That's a chunk of his footballing career that he's not going to want to throw away. So and obviously he'll want to be the main guy in the national team, and there'll be World Cups and Euros coming up. So he can't afford to throw away these years, and he's decided that Liverpool's the place to do that, which is incredible.
No, it is, man. And then the Kirkes one, the Frimpong one are like normal Liverpool deals, release clause. The other one is like, okay, he's there, but he's not really there yet, but the price isn't too bad, so let's go and get him. So those two are kind of expected, kind of get. But like even the links now of like an Isak as well, bro. You're talking about potentially Liverpool spending not only once but twice over 100 million on a player in one window. We've never seen our club move like that. Whether that comes from a place where we realized we made the mistakes after winning the Premier League last time and the Champions League, not really strengthening, as you spoke about earlier. But now having a manager that's shown with what you kind of given him, the tools you've given him, not his own tools, just tools he came in, inherited, being able to go and get success and win one of the most difficult leagues there is to win. They must be thinking, look, what if we just give him what he wants? What does that look like? Because if he can do this with this, and we give him what he wants, what the hell does that look like? And that's where I'm imagining. I'm in my mind, I'm like, yo, we've done the comparison. I've seen people online go like, Shankly and Paisley. They've done the comparison Klopp, and then Arne Slot is going to be the Paisley, where Shankly was the one who galvanized the team, really showed people what it was to be a Liverpool player, Liverpool fan, just being indulged in the culture. And then Paisley came in and was like, yeah, I hear that, but I'm here to win trophies from. I just want to win. And then Paisley just went and just smashed the records, Champions Leagues, the league titles and stuff. I wonder if that's going to be what Arne Slot's mindset is. He just wants to win. He don't care, just win.
Yeah, I think we could. I think that'd be a fair assessment to make based on how he speaks and what we've learned about him over the course of like a year now. He seems like he is really down to earth, recognizes the work that needs to be done, and he stays focused, he stays on task, and it's all for the output of winning, and delivering. And now in such early stages of the transfer window, we're starting to see a little bit of that ruthlessness, which just feeds into what we think he's like. And it's important that we do that as well, because Klopp was great for us, okay, and he built us back up. And hindsight's a wonderful thing, but it almost feels like it, with what's happened post Klopp, that actually it was the right thing to happen. Not to say that Klopp couldn't have gone on and won the league title with this squad of players last season if he had stayed for a year or so, but it kind of feels like he built it all up to such a point where we were at the top of the table again, and we were in that phase where we need to have these elite mindsets, and we need to go out and win everything we can in this moment of football. And to do that, we need ruthlessness. We need fresh ideas. We need fresh eyes. We need to just be quite cold in some of our decision making at times. And it looks like that's kind of how Slot approaches things. And obviously, with the people that are above him, you've got what seems to be a nice blend between wanting to achieve things and also being strong and business savvy as well. FSG clearly have good people below them that advise them on all respects of business and football, and it's something that we get right more often than not. So I just think that we've evolved again into a team that's now ready to compete with everybody else that plays football in Europe. And we may not do the whole Galactico thing, but we're right up there. We're right up there, you know. And Florian Wirtz will be a superstar, and he'll feel like a Galactico at Liverpool. You know, I'm pretty sure that's what will happen. But I think one thing that we're quite good at, and what we've got to praise Liverpool for as well, is you can say that they're doing loads of activity this summer because of the lack of activity last summer and so on and so on. But actually, what you've got to understand is that these scouts and the people involved with recruitment and contracts and everything else, they'll be watching the football they'll be watching the landscape of football and how it's evolving. They'll be looking at other squads and other teams and how they're developing. And I don't think anyone had kind of predicted Man City to have the season that they did, but they look like they're going through a bit of a phase of a rebuild now. You know, Real Madrid is still around, but I still feel like they've still got some bedding in to do, and they've got to now develop again to overhaul Barcelona in the league and get back to winning Champions League. Barcelona, although a great squad, quality players, they're at the point where they're going to evolve again and be at the top. So PSG, again, having won the Champions League, they've got a group of young players there that are going to evolve. So Liverpool are just in and amongst that. There's no squad out there that I believe that is really going to go and dominate as such. I think there's just a handful of sides that really are all kind of at the same level that could all fancy their chances at going and winning the Champions League and stuff. And that's the point in which Liverpool have just tried to, capitalize on, because there was a point perhaps a year, 2-3 years ago where Man City were nailed on for the league because they were doing 100 points guaranteed. And Real Madrid were guaranteed for the Champions League because that's the level they were at. Whereas now it feels like that's dropped off and we're ready to sort of step in, much like Barcelona and PSG are as well. So it feels like Bayern have kind of dropped off a little bit as well. So it's just seizing the opportunity. It's timing when you do these kind of deals and when you splash the cash, because if we'd have done it last summer, we still would have won the league. And you could probably argue, okay, we may have done better in the Champions League and stuff, but I think doing it this summer off the back of the league, we can comfortably say, well, why can't we go and do a double next season now? You know, and that's what's so important, is when you sign these players is also important for the squad.
No, it's true, because you probably could have got a bit further in the Champions League but to be honest though, to be fair, even though the game against PSG, the first game they played us off the park, we still won the game. And then the second game, we had enough chances to go and win that game comfortably as well. Missed chances that kind of rude. We missed those and then got punished with a goal from Dembele. So I wouldn't even say, even if we'd have got the signings, we would have made a massive, massive difference in terms of maybe more trophies. I feel like now is the right moment to sign them. I think the squad is now developed a year on, an extra year together now under Arne Slot, and now he can then put his stamp on the team. And I feel like this is the perfect moment to go out there and get the types of players that we're getting at the moment, and even the ones that we're still to come. I know, some fans, and even myself, I think we need a centre back. I think we need one more of those. I definitely think, obviously, we want a striker, and we will go and get one. In my opinion, I think we'll definitely go and do that. We've already sorted out the right and left back situation. Could we do even more of a deep line playmaker? We could probably look in the market for that, and maybe we're stretching now in terms of what's more important. Will a centre back be more important? A deep line playmaker be more important? I think those are the next two key positions after the striker. we need to go and make sure we sort out, because with Virgil and Konate, you kind of go, yeah, that's kind of calm. And then you've got Quansah and then maybe Joe Gomez. And most people don't even rate the other two like that. They just about like Konate, to be fair.
Well, Konate is an interesting one because he had a good season, but we were talking last summer about how he needs a good season because prior to that, he's getting injuries. Some performances weren't great from him. You know, he was rash. He was getting beat. You know, it seemed like he was at a point where we were like, we need you to mature. We need you to evolve. Virgil's not going to be here forever, and we need you to become that leader at the back. And you know, thankfully for us, he went in and did that last season. But that's not too long ago that we were having them conversations. It was one season ago. We've always known the qualities there, the abilities there. We love him as a personality, as a player, but he did have injury problems, and he did have those performances where, you know, he was just making mistakes and people calling him a bozo or whatever it is. But like he's had a real good season, and now it's a case of continuing that. But I can understand why people would still be sort of reluctant to rely on him as a main centre back and would want that additional sort of strength behind him. It's a shame Quansah hasn't sort of like developed, you know, on the season prior, but he's still very young, and I think that he'll get his chances at Liverpool next season in like the cup competitions and stuff. And I actually really like him as a footballer. I think he'll go through that sort of tough period, but I think that he'll come out of it on the right side, and his game will develop for it. And I think that hopefully it'll be next season, but definitely the year after or the year after, he'll be a good option for us. So I wouldn't want to. I think it's important we do sign a centre back, but also we need to be conscious about that pathway for Quansah as well.
Do you know what? Let's do this then. Let's just go quickly run through the squad. So bear with me. Let me just shift the layout for us 2 seconds. And I think we'll go through the squad because I'd love to know in terms of what you think, what we should do. And guys in the chat, big up to you guys. You guys can get involved in this. Because we have players, it's not more about selling them, but what do you see kind of happening with these players in the team? Obviously, we know
one thing's for sure. One thing's for sure. There is going to be outgoings. And
I don't know how many will be though. That's the thing. For me personally, I don't want a massive overhaul. I just want like a couple to go and then you bring a couple in. I feel like if you change too much too quickly, that could affect the team in a negative way. I don't know if you agree with that.
I think I do. I get what you're saying. I just think that because we have the likes of Alisson, Virgil, and Salah, we've got experience in that squad. We've got guys that have done it and done it multiple times now in terms of winning the league title and winning domestic cups, right? But they're also our top players. So not only can they be the guys that talk in the dressing room and educate and motivate and stuff, but actually on the pitch they can earn the respect, you know, off the back of what they're saying because they're doing it, you know, as well. So I think you've still got that core leadership group. Below that, you've got a group of just what is really good professional pros, you know, mature pros, you know, the likes of Szoboszlai, McAllister, Gakpo, Gomez. These are guys that are quality players, but they're not got inflated egos. They're not trying to be the main man around here. They're not speaking out of turn. Social media presence, which is a big thing now, they stay in line, you know. They really respect the club, and it seems like they respect the manager. So they're not characters that the leadership group necessarily need to keep in check. You know, of course, you've got younger players below that perhaps do. But I think when you get such an overhaul, I think the risk you run is having that sort of imbalance in terms of leaders and egos, and that reflects itself on the pitch. But I don't think that's going to be the case with the squad that we've got, because to put it simply, we just don't sign dickheads. So there's everybody seems professional, goes there, trains hard, works hard, and everybody buys into what they're doing, and rightfully so, because Liverpool are winning things. So as long as you keep the core group of leaders, I think you'll be fine. And obviously it's important that whoever joins the squad has the same mindset that everybody else has got. I'd probably say the biggest ego we had is now gone in Trent. To be honest with you, so that's one problem solved.
Yeah, no, listen, I agree, but we're losing players within that core group. But let's go through the players quickly. You've got Alisson, right? You know he's probably going to be here. You hopefully till he retires. That's what I want him to do. But who knows what might happen? You've got Mamardashvili coming in this season as well, so he is like a new signing. So we've got a new backup goalkeeper to see what he's going to be about when he plays. And if he comes in, he starts doing a madness in terms of pulling off great saves, and he's good with his feet and stuff like that. The moments when Ali normally picks up those knocks, could be the last time you see Ali go.
Well, in a weird way, we kind of want that to happen, don't we? Because we know Ali's probably got a year, 2 years left at Liverpool. You know, I'd love for him to stay longer and stay fit and perform at the level he is, but the likelihood is he'll move on. So you want that next guy that, you know, that's pushed him out the door almost in his performances. I mean, this Mamardashvili seems quite outspoken. You know, I've seen a few things since Liverpool agreed the deal to sign him, where he's come out and said that, you know, a few things. So that'll be an interesting dynamic to see how they work. But I always think the goalkeeper group's always sound anyway. Yeah, you rarely hear about goalkeepers falling out with one another because they train together. They've got their own coaches and stuff. So usually they're quite supportive of each other. You know. Hopefully that remains the case. But yeah, I'm intrigued to see how good this Mamardashvili is, because I've seen the good and the bad, let's say, and I'm intrigued to see what his actual level is. I'm sure it's really good, but
because he's massive, he's still young, and the good thing, he's coming to learn off of the best, in my opinion. So for me, he's only going to get better, isn't he? He's coming in to learn off one of the best goalkeepers on the planet. And if he can just pick up a couple of, you saw how good Kelleher, his levels went up. So, and that's just obviously training with Liverpool's goalkeeping coach, and also probably just watching Alisson in goal, going, how has he done that? And then asking him, how did you do that? And he was like, yeah, just this tip, I do this or I do that. So that could be interesting to see.
I do think as well that the things that, I mean, Alisson's a very all-rounded keeper, but the things that he's elite at, he can teach, he can pass on, you know, like his positioning, you know, he can educate, or you'd like to think that he could educate the Mamardashvili and the other keeper that was signed that's coming in. He could say, look, when Liverpool are here, I'm here. When Liverpool are on the ball, my body shape's like this. I'm distributing my weight like this. You know, we've seen the amount of times how good he is one-on-ones. He stays up for long and all these kinds of things. He can pass on that knowledge, you know. He can teach that, and look, let's hope that it's received and that those keepers are as good as Alisson's been. But I think it's good that this Mamardashvili is coming in now, because, like you say, that sort of education can be had under, in my opinion, the world's best goalkeeper.
How good do you think Kelleher will do? Now he's kind of left and he's the number one now. Do you think he'll do well, or do you think it was too early for him? Do you think, I don't know, because some people think he ain't going to do great. I think he'll do well, man.
No, the timing was right. He's a number one goalkeeper. Like, he deserved to move on and go play football. You know, Brentford's a good club, but they're going to go for a bit of a change now, because it looks like Bremer's going to move on. Weiss is going to move on eventually. He's getting a bit older now. Thomas Frank's gone. So unfortunately for Kelleher, it doesn't matter how good he is.
On a quick one though, Cav, who signed him then? Did Thomas Frank sign him and then left? No. If you go like, hey, I want you to come in, great, you're this, you're that. And then like 2 weeks later, you're like, wait, is he gone? He's like, yeah, he's
I think he'll do well there, but I think Brentford may change as a team. You know, they've done really well to establish themselves as a Premier League club, but they're gonna struggle now unless they get their recruitment right this summer, because I do think Mbeumo is going to be quite a loss for them.
Yeah.
They've dealt well with sort of Tony moving on, but like I say, Mbeumo, Wisa are two standout players for them, and I do think that they'll be quite a miss. So. That will obviously affect Callagher, because he's going to come under. He's going to be playing for a side that probably isn't an established mid-table side anymore. It's probably bottom half of the table, if you like. That's just how I think it'll go for him. So I was quite surprised he went there, to be honest with you. I thought there was other clubs that maybe would have took a chance on him. Maybe, like, I was actually speaking to a friend of mine that supports Villa, and he was like, "Oh yeah, you know, Martinez looks like he's going to move on. Look, like I said, by at the end of the season, last game." I think we're looking at Kelleher, and I was like, yeah, well, that'd be a good move for him, but didn't transpire.
Hopefully he doesn't play like a man possessed when we play them, though. He just let a couple in, bro, and we'll call it a day, innit? Don't be trying to pull off these amazing saves or anything like that. Big Virg, we know he's just a man enjoying in life right now, bro. We saw in the parade, this guy did the ultimate. You mentioned Trent about ego. Nah, this brother said, "Nah, listen, the rest of you guys wear red. I'm wearing this. I'm gonna stand out." That was amazing.
I don't think I've been starstruck before, but I think that's what it was. Honestly, like, I've seen him play football live enough times, but there was just that moment where he was stood on the back of the coach holding the trophy. I felt like I'd seen God.
You know what? You know, when everyone's talking about his aura, his presence, his this year, like,
yeah,
whatever, bro, whatever. Until you go and experience, like, raw.
No, this is what aura is. Okay.
Yeah. I hope to one day achieve this level of aura, because honestly, bro, the way I think it was just the moment, the energy, the crowd, the music. It was just, and then he just seemed there just pop out of red smoke with confetti flying everywhere. And he was just like, yo, like, I'm Virgin it. I'm just the guy.
Do you know what, as well? Because we were stood around for what, 6 hours, 7 hours in the rain. And it felt like just seeing Virg come past holding the trophy made it all worthwhile. You know, like, he needed a moment that day to justify the travel, the long day, the being, you know, soaked through the rain and everything else that went on. It always kind of made worthwhile just seeing that moment. You know, it was crazy. I'll be honest with you, Enz, I didn't see anyone else on the coach. I was just staring.
I am not gonna lie to you as well. I only remember seeing other people on the video back. I have not I didn't notice them at all. All I saw was Virg. I was like, wait. It's like no one else existed on the coach. Even like there was like Chiesa and stuff, people were close to him. I didn't see them. I honestly thought everyone was sitting down and Virg was the only one standing up. And it wasn't the case, because everyone was standing up as well. But he was just taller than everyone else. But his job is, he's got to obviously embed the new guys into the team as well. So he's got not a difficult job, but yeah, he's got a job on his hands to make sure these guys come in and feel settled as quickly as possible. What about Konate, bro? You know, recent news, Real Madrid are tapping him up, bro. That's one of the other things as well you probably didn't see or miss. They're talking about he should run his contract down so they can take him on a free. And he's turned down one offer from Liverpool so far, but he wants over 200k a week. I say, bro, pay him what he wants. I don't want to lose Ibu, but if we don't, apparently we potentially could sell him if we can't come up with an agreement by now at the end of the transfer window. I don't know.
What's he got left? A year on his deal?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're fucked, bro. We're gonna have to pay him.
Just pay him, man. It's worth it.
And like, he's obviously just gonna say, look, give me the money or I'm just gonna hang around for a year and then choose where I want to go. Like, he can go to Madrid or he can go to Paris. Like, either one of them will suit him fine. Like, yeah, we're just gonna have to pay up. We've snookered ourselves with this one a little bit. He look, like I say, he had a quality season last time out. Seems like his game took a step up again. Feels like he's matured. And he's one of the best centre backs in the world. You know, and that partnership with Virgil, in my opinion, is the best in the world. So
Yeah.
I don't think we can afford to lose that right now, especially with, you know, Quansah still quite a way off in his development, and not having anybody else there. Gomez, you know, unfortunately, not much hope that he's gonna be the guy for us. So yeah, we're gonna have to pay him. And look, there might be something behind the likes of Robertson moving on and stuff to sort of free up funds to get a better offer for Ibu. So I hope that's the case. If he's asking for 200 plus, you can understand why. You know, he probably is worthy of that, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I would definitely give him. You got Gomez. You just mentioned the guy that, in the most zen moment of his life, chilled guy, just wants to just live and enjoy the moment. But we need you playing football, big man. We need you on the pitch. We need you. Obviously, I think he's the longest serving player now. I think he's the longest serve. So I don't know what we do with him at the moment, man, because you can see when he's there, he makes a difference to the team. When he's not there, you're like, yo, we miss him because he can cover so many different positions. What do you do with a player like him? Do you just kind of sell him? But then if you sell him, you're going to make it more difficult for yourself because you're going to need more centre backs. So I don't know what we do here. I would keep him personally, but
yeah, I think you keep him. I think you keep him, and I actually think, you know, if we're talking about Robertson moving on, remains to be seen if Tsimikas does. You've got the right back position sorted. He can do a job for you in a few positions, and he's not going to demand a particularly high fee now. I don't think his wages are particularly high, so he might just be one of them. You almost just forget about, you move on, and you focus on other business. You know, and you just keep him around and you use him. But that's the thing, use him though. You know, in the cup competitions, stick him in there. You know, let him you know, play some games. So yeah, I think with all the other business that we're doing, you kind of just kick the can down the road a little bit with Gomez.
oh man, that's going to be crazy when it leaves in the longest serving player out. It's crazy. That's how crazy that the squad has changed so much over the last few years that Gomez is the last one left in terms of the longest serving.
The thing is, you need, like, as we were speaking earlier about how ruthless like the management is, and you know how much they're going to sort of turn over this squad eventually. But like, you do also still need players that are like, you know, it's a 25-man squad. You still need players that you consider at the level between 20 and 25, and they might just deem him as that, to be honest with you.
Let's see what happens. Big up to the chat, guys, man. I see you guys having a conversation, and I will get to some of the comments when I can. Quansah, you said he's way behind his development. Why do you say that? Because for me, I think he's shown in moments that he's a good centre back, and I think there's games there. But I always feel like there's moments when he gets sold out by his teammates, like Virgil kicking the ball against him, scoring on goal. I see everyone crashing out. I'm like, what can he do? Like, he can't do nothing there. What can he do? He's kicked it against him. I remember go back to the League Cup game against Brighton, and he was having an amazing game apart from like the last 10 minutes. I think he ended up, was he an own goal? And then he was his fault for one of the goals, and then Arne Slot just took him off. And I was like, yeah, you were so good up until the last 10 minutes, bro. What happened? That's kind of the inexperience of the young defender, isn't it, really? But I don't know what you do with him, man, because I think he can be a good defender. I think there's stuff. I think there's ability there to be good, but yeah, don't know. It's just something missing from him. Just something slightly missing from him at the moment. Maybe because he's young.
He's just a young player at a very big club. That's the thing, you know. For him to really step in and impress, you've got to be absolutely quality. You know, you've got to be one of the best young centre backs in world football. You've got to be a wonder kid of, you know, in that position, if you like, to really, you know, make a claim in this side. So he's just a very good defender, in my opinion. He's very good. He could be really good, but he's got to go through what he's going through at the minute, which is just that maturing in his game, maturing off the pitch, riding out the tough times, and he's had a few of them now. And if he can do that, and he can gain some confidence and just believe in himself, then he can be a really good player. Even on some of his loan spells, when he was playing week in, week out, he was playing amongst men, and he stood up to the challenge, and he was, some of the best performances he's had was when he was younger on them loan spells. But now he's stepping in to what's usually a rotated side in the cup competitions, or it's a few, it's thrown into a game where he's not played first team football for a while, and he's trying to find his feet. But I see a lot of good attributes in him, actually, and I think that it's someone I'd like us to sort of stick by and continue to sort of pursue in his development, because I do see a future for him at Liverpool. I do see a world where he does evolve into a first team player for us. So I would keep hold of him this season. I'd keep hold of him. Liverpool's a good place to be as a young player. You've got good role models around you, and I think he'll need that. I know, yes, it's important to play, but I think with what's gone on already so far in his career, I think it's important to be surrounded by people that can mentor him as well as coach him in football as well.
Obviously, he's been linked, big up to Honesty, he's been linked with by Leverkusen as well. So that's be an interesting one. They actually want him. I doubt we
leaves us thin, though. Leaves us thin. That's the thing. He is our next choice centre back beyond the first two. So we'd have to bring somebody in, definitely.
That's what I said. I think if you're gonna move these players on, you need to get someone in beforehand. Robbo, I don't know if we're split with this one, because I want him to stay for at least another year. You want to let it go? Go on, talk to me, bro. Because I said yesterday about it, and I think I mentioned it today as well.
I think I just always seen this world where he'd like just go back to Scotland. I don't know why. So it spun me when it was like, oh, he's going Atletico. I was like, Atletico. He'll be running more over there than he does here. Absolutely shattered.
He will be
under Simeone.
If he does move, though, he'll be playing up against Trent. That'll be an interesting battle.
Yeah, and the whole, Trent owning a stake in his agent's company and all these kind of things is a bit of a mess. But I think I'm all right, Robin. Moving on. Yeah, I think we've got in Kirkes, we've got a good player coming in that will put in better performances over the course of the season than Robbo has. If he was to stay, I still think as long as you give him a good rest, he can step in and put a good game in every fortnight or maybe even every week. But he can't do 2 games a week. That's when the legs start to sort of go so slow that they're reacting late and giving away penalties and these kinds of things. So
no, that's fair.
I think it's I'm perfectly fine with him moving on at this point. But equally, if he stays, I'm happy as long as he's happy to be back up, which I don't think he is, because he's come out and said as much. And my only concern really is if both him and Tsimikas go, and we bring in one left back, what do we do there?
Could that not spur him on, though, in terms of, because he said that he still feels he's got a bit more left in the tank kind of thing. Do you not think that with Kirkes coming, he's like, yo, you guys think you can replace me and then have one of those amazing seasons, or you just don't think he has one of those left in the tank?
No, even if he does, the trouble you've got is the preference is always going to be in favour of Kirkes. It's always going to be try and get Kirkes playing as much football as possible. Give him the chance because he's the younger player, and he's going to be here longer, regardless of whatever the performances are from both of them. So Kirkes is always going to start. First game of the season, Kirkes is starting. And then Robert's got to really impress in the minutes that he does play or in training to get that first team place to get back again. But even if he puts in a stellar season, at the end of that season, how much faith is Slot going to have that he's going to repeat it and still be ahead of Kirkes? I don't think he will. Very little. So I don't see a future where Robbo remains first choice at Liverpool. I just think that's I wouldn't be surprised if that's been said to him. to be honest with you. And he's almost being pushed out the door because they quite clearly want him off the wage bill, and they quite clearly see Kirk as the future at left back for Liverpool.
Bro, I'm trying to just kick out.
No, because he come out and he was like, "Yo, if all the fans make as much noise about my contract," and then there was no noise.
I was like, "Yeah, no, thanks." It's all right. So that means if Robbo don't stand a chance, Tsimikas definitely doesn't stand a chance. Then he's probably gone then as well. But you can't get rid of both of them. You have to keep one. You have to keep one. That's what I was more. Even though I like Tsimikas, but even I would be like, "Yo, listen, Simi, thank you, bro. See you later. I'll keep Robbo just because of the experience."
I watched I watched a stream on another channel a couple of days ago, whatever it is, and they raised a really good point, right? And I won't credit them because it's your channel, so fuck them. But like they made a point that the thing with Tsimikas is, ability-wise, he's probably not too dissimilar to Kirkes, right? Predominantly left-footed, up and down, across from deep, will overlap, and all these kinds of traits, right? But I think the one thing that works against him, or is going to work against him under Slot, is his mindset. I don't think Slot's going to accept somebody who's quite happy to sit on the bench and quite happy to not play football for a month. That is the kind of elite mentality that Slot isn't going to see in him, and I think he'll want to sort of eke that out. And I think he'll only want players that are hungry for success and they're hungry to play. And I think Slot will rather deal with having 25 hungry players that are banging on his door wanting to play and managing that situation, rather than having the likes of Tsimikas that's just like, "Oh yeah, I'm not on the team sheet. All right, no worries." And just I'm gonna get my big jacket on and sit on the comfy seats.
Yeah, nah, you gotta be moaning or doing something, bro.
So I think for that reason, I could see him going, but it leaves us light. It does really leave us light, and we would have to bring somebody else in. But then you've got the other challenge of who do you bring in, because
the name would be excellent, bro.
Yeah, but you're pretty much saying to them, your second choice now at this point. So
they want to bring in, I think the name obviously is Hato. He can play centre back and left centre back, left back. So he can fill both roles. He's 19, so he's not like massively younger than Kirkes. Kirkes is what, 21? So you could potentially just have those two kind of battling it out for that position there. But then, as I said to you, man, it's going to be a lot, because we'll get to Bradley in a second because he's next on the list. We've got two young whippersnappers on one side, another two on the other side. It's going to be mental to try and control them, because it's going to be on just like vacated spaces just because they're younger. They just got more energy. They want to run a bit more and stuff like that. So, if we
dead
get
exciting though, dead exciting. If Slot and Verge and the other players that are going to be there week in, week out can mentor and get this balance right with the enthusiasm that the fullbacks clearly have, the pace that they've got, but channeling that into doing it, bombing forward in the right moments, and not just running forward for running forward's sake, actually make intelligent runs, know when you need to overlap, know when you need to drop off and just offer for the pass, and all these kinds of things. You get that blend right, and you got serious power in that side now. We've got pace, but we've got power, we've got aggression, and we just need to make sure that we get that intelligence in their game as well. But I think Slot's obviously crucial to that, and I think Virgil is as well, because he's the orchestrator at the back, isn't he?
Bradley, now the more senior right back at the football club, a new 5-year deal, so he's happy as anything. We speak about him in glowing terms, but everyone else, bro, just want to cook him, bro.
with the only people it seems that are flying the fucking Bradley flag.
Bradley, but all of a sudden he's not. We have to wait. Look, I think they make valid points though. One of the valid points is we have not seen him play a whole season. We don't know what that looks like yet. So I think that's always a fair point. But I don't think there's a question about his ability. And even the other day, like I was listening and some people talking about like, oh, he's defending. I was like, that was never a thing with Bradley about his defending and he weren't good. I feel like we're starting to create like narratives and negative things around him. So then we start using a magnifying glass, looking at him more. Oh, wow, he's let a player run past him. Like, yeah, that's going to happen. We play in a league that most wingers are athletic and they're rapid as anything in this league. So at one point, I'm sure someone will run by you, bro. Like, there's nothing you can do about it. But
yeah. Do you know what, Enz? I'll explain it to you this way, right? You know when me and you used to play Football Manager, right? And then you'd do a sneaky one, and you'd take ownership of Derby, right? Because they had these really good young players. Okay, and when they were assessing these good young players, they were like, "Well, he's quick and he can shoot, and he's got a good touch, and he can defend." And before you knew it, right, you had this like 16-year-old where they do the little I don't know what the graphic is, but the wider the graphic is, the better and more all-rounded player they are. These guys were just like out of circle, 20 out of 20 for everything. And I was like, how? That makes them the best player in the world. But when you actually deep it and you analyze each attribute, they're good at everything. And I think this is the thing with Bradley is he's actually, I think, good at everything. I think he's pacey. I think he can use both feet. I think he's intelligent. I think he can step into midfield quite well. And I think he gets into that number 10 central area brilliantly well. And the timing of some of his runs is brilliant into the box. He overlaps and he usually picks his head up and picks out a pass. And I think when you add all of those things together, you go, well, he's the best right back in the world then. And you go, well, no, he's not. But I can't then come down from where how good I've just said he is. So what we then start to do as fans is we're like, well, we made a mistake here and he didn't do well there and he didn't do well. But like you say, Jens, yes, but that's going to happen. I think he is a brilliant right back. And I think he's so exciting. He's perhaps not the most fashionable looking player, and I think he's Northern Irish, and no disrespect to them, but if he were Brazilian, he'd probably be getting a lot more plaudits, and that's the way it goes, But I actually think that he's got so much about his game, and yes, of course, he needs to play a full season. He needs to show it when the legs are tired, when you've not got the results that you wanted, when suddenly it's not going in your favor. What player are you then? But I just think we've got a cracker of a fullback. I really do. And it's going to be so interesting to see how it plays out with him and Frimpong next season.
And it's crazy because you're right. I've not looked at him and gone, he's weak in this position. The only thing I've always mentioned is I think his end product needs to be worked on. But that comes with consistency and rhythm and repetition. I think that's where you will get that, the type of runs from players. Like, right, I know for a fact he's going to be there, so I'll pull it back. I know he's going to be at the far post, so I'll whip it across. I know he's going to run to the near post, so I'll hit it first time. But because he hasn't had those, I haven't seen him kind of hit those completed passes like that. I've seen him get a couple of assists more from like central areas and stuff, but I think that's the only critique I would give him. But when I'm looking at the play, I'm like, well, he's great on the ball. I don't even panic when he's on the ball. He feels like he makes the right decision consistently. He just, right, if it's a 1-2, he'll give it. If he needs to hold on to it, turn back and play, he will. It's like he's always thinking about what's the best decision in that situation should be. And then he does it. And I'm just like, nah, the kid has got it, man. He's definitely got it. It's just now we need to show us in the whole season. Because I think if he shows us in the whole season and he does what me and you are thinking he could do, I think that's when he'll be like, this is what we were trying to explain. This is what we were trying to tell you.
Yeah, exactly.
Look, this is how good he is. But
I'm willing to speak up now because I really do think I'm going to be proved right, or we're going to be proved right next season. I think he's going to be that good. But the thing is as well, just finally on him, the mistakes he has made, I look at them and it convinces me even more that he's going to be a great player because the mistakes he makes is easily coachable. Like the last one I can remember, he didn't get out for the cross. I mean, you can. I mean, that's something you teach, kids, when they're at a very early age, stop the cross. He just didn't in that moment. He just didn't do it. And that's a learning curve for him is, look, you're going to play 90 minutes football. You're going to play week in, week out. And these one or two moments can define how people review your game, and also can define the results because they scored off the back of that. So, yes, you didn't. Your decision to sit off was the wrong one, but you need to work on that. And we're going to educate you. We're going to show you videos, and we're going to show you how you manage your body so that you're not tired in your mind to want to get out there and all of that. And that's easily can be worked out of his game. And they can easily develop on that. I'd be more concerned if players were just running off the back of him, and positionally he was all over the place, and he didn't know where to be looking, and his body shape's all wrong, and that I'd be like, Jesus Christ, we've got a way to go to teach this, to get this out of him. But the mistakes that he's made, I'm like, yeah, we can. I'm calm with that.
It's a minor thing. I think
he'll get that.
It was just switched off. Not even switched off. I think when you look at them, they're probably like within tired moments more than actually he couldn't do it or can't do it. It was just like, I'll probably just run back 80 yards and now I've got to get out and close this player down. I ain't got it in the legs. I'm hoping he doesn't cross it.
He maybe just overthought it, because Bradley, what we've seen from him a lot is he'll commit to a challenge. He'll commit. He'll dive in. And the thing with young players is that they grow up and they learn the game and they learn what they're good at. Yeah. And then they get to this period in their early career where what they're good at doesn't work for a moment, and then they've got to decide: do I go away from it, or do I persist with it, or do I learn and learn when to do it and when not to do it? And he steps in more often than not. He dives in more often than not. Right? He'll go full committed to a challenge, and he's picked up a few yellow cards. And in that moment, he's probably just doubted himself. He's probably doubted himself in terms of stepping in and being aggressive. He's probably thought, well, let me drop off this time and let me just watch where he's going and react. But in that moment, that weren't the right thing to do. It was to step in and force the player back. So he's probably going to learn a lot next season in that respect, where it's like, I can do all of these things. Now it's about timing, when to do it, when not to do it, but also remain confident in what you're doing as well. You don't want him to start doubting and questioning what you're doing at the moment, that he loses confidence in what he does, because more often than not, we've seen the big challenges. He's good at them. Do you know what I mean? Like, he just needs to stay on the trajectory he's on, and he'll be a great right back.
All right, let's run for a couple of these. Gravenberch, we know, got young player of the season. Hey, feel good for him, man. Feel great for him. I feel like he still gets a lot of criticism as well, you know, like even listening to the guys, and we're talking about like what players we should bring in. He's like the one they want to get out of the midfield. I'm like, I don't think he's the one we should just throw in the bin like that, bro. He did. Listen, there's games last season where I even saw like, you're off your game. But then I felt like, because we stopped with the system we were originally using, we stopped using his strengths within the games. We stopped making him feel comfortable or confident in what he was doing. Then we just started going, oh no, just run around. And I felt like, because we went away from it, of course he's going to be given instructions what to do within the new system. But it felt like it was like basic stuff. Oh, make sure you just put yourself here and you just chase this guy down and you just drop it. Like, it felt like basic stuff. And he was like, well, this is like boring, isn't it? Like the first half of the season, you're giving me like, yo, I am the main guy. We're playing through me. And then we changed it to
I agree. I think there was definitely a change in our approach to football and how we were playing sort of off after Christmas. And we don't know. I don't know what the reason for that is, to be honest with you. Maybe it was a case of, all right, we've done so well up to this point that actually we're going to make sure we don't burn out, because that's what's been happening in previous years, and we're gonna sort of slow the tempo down a little bit, and we believe in our quality to get us through. You don't know, he might have had a bit of a knock, tired legs, advice from some of the medical staff for him to slow a little bit, to change a bit, but we didn't probably feel like that could be to the extent of bringing somebody else in. So he had to play. It just had to play a different way. So I don't know, but there definitely was a change. But look, the league title wasn't won after Christmas. You know, it was over the course of the season. And over the course of the season, we must not forget the start of it. And the start of it up until the midway point, he was brilliant, as you say. And I am so excited to see what he's going to be like with bombing fullbacks beside him and Florian Wirtz in front of him, because we could see just that next step up in terms of technical ability, body feints, taking opposition out of the game with the drop of the shoulders and the flair. There was, I said to you, I think did a post-match one time. I said, he's done this skill twice now, back-to-back games. And I kid you not, if I went out into the garden now and tried to replicate it, I couldn't do it once if I tried all evening. And this guy did it in back-to-back games. I'll have to pull up the clip of what it was. But it was incredible, the skill. And you're just like, I'm so excited to see more of this, because I think that's what Florian will bring out of these players. When you step on a pitch and you play with someone that wants to play on the ground and it's pass and move, and then it's little flicks and stuff, it just brings out the best footballer in you. So I think that's what's going to happen with him.
Shows like that kid that just wants to play and have fun with the football. I think that's what's going to happen with these guys. What about the samurai that we have? Is like nothing's really been said about him. It feels like even with the transfer market going on, it feels like he's not a part of the transfer market. It feels like he's just he's here. He's gonna stay here. He ain't going.
Yeah, he's sound. Yeah.
Like I don't see no links away. No one saying he's staying. He's just like he doesn't even exist in the squad at the moment. That's I feel like what's going on.
Right, this is one of two things, right? Either we really recognize the job he did when he stepped in the final moments of games, right? And believe you me, it played its part because he'd come on in games where we were like being overran a little bit and he just clamped it all up, right?
Yeah.
Yes, he gets his yellow cards or whatnot, but he did a job. He really did do a job, and he played his part in getting us over the line. But it's either we really recognize that and respect that and we want to keep that for next season, right? Somebody that's not going to kick up a fuss and play little minutes as and when you need them, or it will just be like one day you'll wake up and it will just be like, oh yeah, such a put in a bid and then he's gone the same day. He just there's no drawn out process, there's no rumors. It's like bid in Stereo. Nice to it was nice getting to know you.
If that happens, man, that'll be deep. I still believe he needs to. I don't know if he stayed like I'm trying to just think, where do you? He doesn't start them. Obviously, he doesn't start. But you need a player like that, bro. You just need a player like that in your team when things are going tough. You throw them in, and I promise you, no midfielder can live with this brother in there. No one midfielder I've seen survive with him in the midfield. Yeah. He's at everyone. He's at you. You can't turn. You have to give it backwards. You have to go sideways. You can't turn and face him, and you can't run past him.
He's the perfect squad player. Doesn't kick up a fuss, doesn't demand anything. Happy to sit on the bench. But when you're in a game where you're like, Jesus, we're only one up here, and we need these 3 points, and you chuck him on, you're like, okay, he's gonna firm up that defense. Like that is, especially if we're competing on all fronts next season, it's definitely moments where you need that player. So I'm keeping him. And I'm just like, look, what are you gonna get? 10 million? It ain't worth it. Just keep him.
Oh man, he can get you 10 million of tackles. Szoboszlai, bro. He's the next one. They've thrown out the team as well. They've thrown him out. They said, listen, the new toy, the new number 10 is here. Sobo, listen, you have to hold bench. But then the conversation is, can he go in the deep line position and play in the double pivot? And that's who Gravenberch is getting chucked out for, Sobo. I don't know what you think about that.
Do you know what? There is a world where the Liverpool side are worse off not having him in it. That much could be true because he did a lot of running last season, and yes, he could have given us more in terms of goals and assists and stuff, but he played that 10 position in such a way where he did so much work for the team. And actually, there were games where he didn't start, and we looked like we did lack energy. We looked like we did lack his running, and I hope that Florian stepping into that position kind of makes up the difference. Maybe in a different way. Maybe we keep the ball a bit better so you don't have to be chasing people as much. Maybe we're so dynamic in our attack that we create so many chances and we score even more goals that actually we can sit back more if we need to, and we ain't got to do all the chasing and the pressing. I know Florian actually is a good presser of the ball actually, and he's all action. So he probably won't be that far removed. But I do think that part of a big part of why we were so good last season was the energy that he brought to the side, and so I'm interested to see what happens if we simply take him out and then just put Florian in. But like you say, he might do a job a bit further back. I don't know how a midfield of Florian, McAllister, and Szoboszlai looks. To be honest with you, we'd have to wait and see. I think that he could be one quite easily that would not. I think this time next year could feel like his nose is put out of joint a bit and probably be looking to move, because I don't think he would be the type of character that's happy to, be back up to Florian or the other boys. So he will play his part next season for sure. I'm interested to see how he's going to keep him happy though, because clearly Wirtz is going to play. I don't think you can take McAllister or Gravenberch out in the midfield either. So I don't know where that leaves him. He'll play naturally because we'll play so many games next season, but I just don't know if he'll play enough to keep him happy, which will be a real shame. I hope I'm wrong, because I really do feel like he's a good player.
All right, let's see who else we got. Let's go Elliott, because he's another one that we're planning to kind of throw out the squad now as well.
Yeah. He's
I'm upset about this a little bit still. I can't lie. I think there's a player there, but I get it. I get it, bro. I get it.
Yeah.
Not we've got enough midfielders and it's going to be difficult. But can't remember who made this point earlier. Forgive me, because I want to give them credit. It was someone in the chat or someone in one of the comments. And they were saying, obviously, where are we looking to shift the system back to what we originally tried to do at the start of last season, in preseason, when Harvey was playing really well? And the reason why we probably shifted it is because where Harvey got injured for the 3 months, Szobo came in and we just utilized his skill sets, and then changed where we got our creativity from instead of from the actual 10. If we go back to the old one, could not Harvey, thrive in that system?
I mean, yeah, definitely. He's a good player, and actually there's been games where he's come in and made a real difference because he just gets on the ball, shows for it, he plays a simple pass that, we're playing quicker, shorter passes with him in the side, and it improves the tempo. And actually we look like we could, he'll put a good ball into the box, he'll thread a pass, and he's just kind of got things ticking a little bit more in the side. But I just don't know if he's got enough, if I'm being honest with you. I really like him. I like the story. I like the fact that he's a Liverpool fan. His dad's a massive Liverpool fan, and all these things. But like I said earlier, I don't think the management care about all this stuff. They'll hear it, but it ain't enough to keep you around Liverpool nowadays. It's got to be you perform on the pitch and you push somebody else out, or you're going to be moved on. And I just think he's one that could easily go this summer, easily. Not that I think a lot of Liverpool fans will be upset about that, but I can't see where Hughes and Edwards find that sentiment for him. I think they'll just look at it and be like, I think we can move you on, get a bit of fee, and that be it. But yeah, in answer to your question, depending on what style we play, could he do a job? Yeah. But put it this way, Ens. Salah moves on in a couple of years, right? And you're left with these current players. Would you want Harvey Elliott in your starting 11?
That's a dangerous question, bro.
Because that's how we've got to be thinking now. That is how we've got to be thinking. We've
I hear it. Ruthless
thinking about life after Mo. We'd all back Florian Wirtz to do well. Would back. Well, I say we back the others. I'm not sure we do.
Tiny legs. Big up to Anfield Saga for subscribing as well. All right, I'm not gonna fight it, bro. It is what it is. McAllister. There's still a debate whether he's world class or not, even after all the trophies he's won.
Yeah.
Is he world class? Is he misprofiled? Is he not the type of player that we expected? Are we utilizing him in the right way? Because we've tried to ask for him in the 10. We see now how creative he can be. When he's shooting and finishing from in and around the box is actually cold, to be fair. We saw against Spurs that left-footed finish was outrageous. And then a few screamers as well. The Fulham one stands out. But all the midfielders can't play. They all can't play unless we come up with a system where they all get to play within it. Someone has to hold bench. Is he the likely one to hold bench?
No.
So I'm going to ask you who then.
No.
I need to know who then.
No. McAllister, in my opinion, is world class. Now, don't get me wrong. The class isn't what it used to be before, right?
Mm-hmm.
But he is one of the best midfielders in the world, in my opinion. I think the fact that he can do a job in an 8, he can do a job as a 6, not his strongest position, but can do a job in 10, in the 10 position, you know, in them advanced roles, works against him because now we're constantly having a conversation about where is his best position. I don't care. Look at the season he just put in. Look at the contributions he made with regards to the tackles and the ball retention and the tempo and the goals. You know, it was only Tottenham, which was the crucial game to get the title over the line, and then he just rifles one into the top bin. Like when he needs to move into, you know, into them 4 positions, he's contributing with goals. You know, scored against, you know, Real Madrid and other teams. So I just know that Liverpool are a much better side than McAllister's in that team. And when we signed him, I was so made up because it just felt like he was the perfect signing, a typical signing for Man City. And it was like, oh yeah, we finally got a midfielder that can actually step up to the midfielders of the best team at the time in England. And that's how good I think he is. Mentality, ability, contributions at both ends. I just think he's great. I think he's great, and I can't see why people doubt whether he's world class or not. For me, he just is. He's just that good. And I'm not having any conversation about rotation or is he in the starting 11 or anything like that. Yeah, he is. I don't care where you put him. He's in it.
Someone has to come out though, bro. We can't have all these midfielders playing. If you have to drop one, then.
Well, if I think I would. Well, it's not dropping, right? It's not dropping. Okay. You can play. You can play in a few days. You can play in a few days, but like today, Szoboszlai, you're not going to be playing, unfortunately. I'm sorry, but McAllister's a proper all rounder. Gravenberch has got the potential to be the best midfielder in the world with his ability, and then you got Florian Wirtz. You know, it's just process of elimination. Szoboszlai, unfortunately, he has just got to drop out if we're having that conversation.
Talking about someone else that might have to drop out. Curtis Jones from it.
You can't drop out if you were never in, bro.
No, he's definitely. Has he pulled his weight? Did he pull his weight last season? First and foremost, I think he did to an extent. I felt like whenever we needed him to come in certain games, he came in and did his thing. But he still gets beaten with the same stick, bro. That he holds onto the ball for too long. But you do need sometimes players to like keep the ball, because sometimes we're doing some craziness where we just keep giving the ball back to the opposition. And he's probably come on with the instruction of keep the ball. Like, can we just keep the ball for 5 minutes, please? Do you know what I mean? Can we recover and stuff like that? So where does he now go?
Do you know what? I like Curtis Jones. I probably like him more than I'd say the average Liverpool fan probably does, right? But I think that what worked, he has always kept the ball, and it has always been a frustration, right, for all Liverpool fans, and would all like him to move it quicker. And we've seen good periods of games where he's playing regularly, and he looks like he's in his groove, and he's contributing with goals, and you know he's got a few good assists in there as well, and he's a silky footballer. But what works against him, and I felt like this happened quite a bit towards the end of last season, is it felt like the conversation about how much he can retain the ball almost got to him, and he almost had to prove he could keep it. And it was like, all right, that's lovely. Like, you've just kept the ball for 30 seconds and you fended off 2 players, but like
We've
we've gone nowhere with it. As a team, we're worse off. So, it's just, unfortunately, he sort of, I felt like he had not a chip on his shoulder, but I felt like we were past this ball retention conversation, and then it feels like it's reared its head again at the end of last season, because he just that's what he wanted to do, was just keep it and then just show everyone that he could keep it. And it's like, we all know you can. I want you to do what's right for the team rather than you proving yourself. So it frustrated me a little bit, I'm not going to lie, but in terms of, does he stay, does he go, whatnot, I think he stays. I think you need squad depth, and I think he's a good player to still have around.
Big up to Alex, is it, for the super chat. Can you guys not see us playing a diamond? The diamond would be good, to be fair. I don't know if Arne Slot is going to be that ambitious to try and do that. I remember the diamond back in the day when AC used to use it with Kaka at the top of the diamond. McGraver's in the 6, Mac and Sobo as the 8s, Florian as the 10, Gakpo or Isak, fingers crossed, and Salah as your wide strikers. What's your thoughts on that? Could we go and play the diamond? I like the sound of that. That sound beautiful, but I don't know if the gaffer is that ambitious to try and do something.
It's a nice way of trying to get as many as the footballers you want back in the side, but I think in reality it's quite a shift. I think it's quite a shift from where we are to go to that. I think the biggest thing in that as well is I don't think he'll want to touch Salah's position. I think when you're talking about a player that gets the amount of goal contributions that he does, and seems to have really, renewed his game on that right side, I think he's just going to say to him, look, same again, Salah. I'm not moving you. I'm not asking you to do anything different. The same output again. I'll move I'll move everybody else around, and I'll change the tactics around you. But yeah, that right side, you're a staple, and I don't see him taking a risk trying to push him more centrally, to be honest with you. I think he's just going to leave Salah where he is. And also Diaz, Gakpo, these players are so used to coming off the left. So if you're going with a diamond, it's naturally narrow and you're offering your width to your fullbacks. But are you really going to get Diaz and Gakpo to stay central? They're going to want to drift. They're so used to coming in off the left that they're going to want to move around. And look, if you get it right, it could be crazy good. But it's very unlikely you are. You just got to be players in each other's pockets and all sorts. I think it would be so hard to sort of coach that from this point.
Yeah, it's true. I feel like they'll just randomly just be random positions.
Yeah,
you have to get used to it. Well, let's combine Diaz and Cody Gakpo, because those are our two left-sided. Obviously, with Diaz, it looks like Barcelona are definitely interested in signing him. That's a blow, because I don't want him to leave. And then Saudi as well. And Cody just seems to be happy. He's out in Africa giving away T-shirts and stuff. So he's kind of just chilling in it. But do you see do you see Diaz actually leaving?
Yeah, I do. Yeah. If I think, based on the information today, I think that he's going to leave. I think that Liverpool have obviously not offered him a contract at this point, or if they have, it's obviously not at an acceptable standard, or what standard that he wants, or output that he wants, or whatever. But I think that the age that he's at, off the back of the season that he's had, I think Liverpool see it as a perfect time to sell him. With the interest that he's got from Barcelona, Saudi, in good form off the back of last season, injury-free, just took us to a league title, played multiple positions. The age that he's at, it just all roads lead to Liverpool just wanting to sell him, in my opinion. I think the biggest challenge they've then got is, who do you think you can bring in? And if you don't think you can bring somebody else in because the player you want isn't available right now, they might hold on to him for that reason. But I do think if there was a player out there that Liverpool felt could go in on that left wing position, or the striker, depending on which way they're going to set the team up, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think they'll let him go in a heartbeat easily. I think they just know they can get the fee that they want for him. And like I say, at the age that he's at, knowing that they're probably going to have to offer him more money with a renewed contract and stuff, I just don't think they want to do that.
Yeah, it just feels like we're doing a lot in it, bro. It feels like. Oh man, I promise you, if you bring in someone, you might see me do the thing where I dislike players, bro, in my team. You might see me start doing that. If you make this guy leave and you don't go and get someone in that are gonna bring the levels up, I might just rant. You might just hear me moaning at random stuff like, "Oh, look, he's not done this or he's not done that." I can't deal with Diaz not being there. I think he's good enough, but I don't know. His output is there. People ask for the output. His output is there. It's up there in the, you know what I mean, in the Prem. Not only that, in the world football, he's up there against some of the best out there. His numbers are good enough, but we don't.
I think as well, like, what is the chances, right, of what we know about this club and how, you know, they're so sustainable and they're so risk adverse at times, and they make sure that financially they're always on the right side. What's the chances that we spend this money on Kerkez, Frimpong, and Florian, and a big player doesn't leave? Like, it's slim. They're gonna recoup the money from somewhere, and I just think it's Diaz. Like, Robertson's gonna leave for like a tiny fee, and that will reduce the wage bill. I get that. You know, Kelleher's gone, but that was next to no money. Like, I just think it's unlikely that we go into next season having signed all these players and you've not recouped a 50, 60 plus £1 million fee for a player. And I don't see who else it could be. I think for me, it's nailed on that he will go. And it's a shame because I really like him. You know, obviously, you know, I'm not saying I want him to go at all, but I'm just looking at what I think the club will do. And I do think they'll move him on.
Jota. If you're talking about someone that should be moved on, is this guy. That's what move on. He's not available enough. He's definitely not available enough. This is when you're talking about someone there that has talent but not contributing because he's spending too much time injury. And then not only that, normally when he comes back from his injury, he actually comes in and chips in. I'm not saying he didn't chip in because he scored that winner for us against Everton. Beautiful, beautiful goal. But just in general, his overall performance this season has been shocking.
Yeah.
And like, I don't want, because every year we go, oh yeah, if he's fit. It feels like we just say that every year now. Oh, if Jota is fit, that means he's gonna do this. But he's just never fit now. And you know, it's crazy because the last injury he picked up, someone fell on him, bro. It's not even. It's just like, bro, he can't even catch a break now. He started the season off, and I remember that first game, and I was like, yo, he looks all over the place. He doesn't. He doesn't look like, you know what I mean? And then he had a decent performance after that. But I don't think he can play the way that Arne Slot wants him to play with minimal chances. We're so used to a high chance conversion rate in terms of like the chances are going, even if they're like half chances. It's like now we wait for the precise chances. It's like that's what we try and do. We try and create precise moments instead of those gong ho moments where it could just be a random chance out of nothing. Feels like now you can see where the chances are coming from. And I don't know if his game can play like that. I don't think he can operate like that within what we're trying to do now. So
I like my striker to be sharp. I like him to be on the move in the box. I like them to be on their toes, anticipating anything and everything that might happen. And it feels like he's lost that. It feels like the good moments that Jota has is usually when he's picking the ball up at his feet and he's running at players, you know, which, don't get me wrong, he's usually quite, you know, rather unpolished approach, but he does bundle his way through at times. Nice, good 1, 2, 3 touches and then slots it in the back of the net. But it's not enough. It's not enough that's happening. And so if you're doing that once every 10 games, the rest of the time, I just need you to be what you were before, which was a fox in the box. Cross comes in, you're in the right place at the right time. You're leaping up and you're headering it away. A mistake, a loose pass from the opposition, you're on it and you're taking one touch and you're tucking it away. Like he's lost that anticipation. He's lost that sharpness. And it feels like when we talk about players having that sort of elite mentality, wanting to be the best in the world, wanting to be nailed on starter for the team, I'm not seeing that from him. I'm pretty sure that he wants to be that player, but when he's stepping in, yes, he does work hard, and he tries to win the ball back and he tries to do his bit for the side, but I'm just not seeing that edge that he probably once had before. And maybe that is to do with the injuries, but ultimately it just leaves us in a position where we can't really trust him. You can't, and you want to trust your striker. You want to trust that they're always available and they'll at least take 1 out of 2 chances and stuff. And he's just unfortunately not proved to do that this season. So the thing with him is, well, the thing about all of this is, I think the Nunez signing kind of set us back a little bit. And I think had Nunez have been what we wanted him to have been, Jota would have been gone already. I think the fact that we invested so much in Nunez and we've had to stick by him and try and make that work, that ultimately Jota's kind of just been the fullback when Nunez hasn't been performing. But really and truthfully, Nunez should have stepped in, been the main guy. He should have been our striker, and Jota should have been playing such minimal minutes that he would have been unhappy and wanted to leave. But that's not happening. We ultimately just need to improve on both of them, and we need to sort of, I really like Jota, and actually I was so happy when we signed him from Wolves, because I just thought he was a real tenacious player, someone that always had a contribution in him, in every game, and just felt like he was dead clutch, and he just seems to have declined, unfortunately. So I think he's got to, well, I say he's got to go. If we're playing FIFA, then you'd sell him and you'd sell him, and you'd get another striker in, but that might not happen,
Well, he still has to go, Cam, bro. He just has to go and find a new team. Like, the talent is there, but the availability isn't, and I can't put all my eggs in one basket and go, all right, do you know what? Let's give Jota the opportunity again, because it could be like game week 2, and then now he's out for like 2 months. You're like, okay, so we just wasted another season by having him here, when we could have probably just got something for it. Do you know what I mean?
Well, you said it, and you were bang on. And like, the disappointing thing with him last season was that when he actually was available and actually was playing, he used to be, guaranteed goals from Jota. The only question was, will he stay fit? Last season, it was a case of, will he stay fit and will he actually contribute? We can't be going into next season with that, really. We need a striker that scores goals.
I want to see how many goals he actually did get last season in the Prem. I know it's not a lot, so I just want to go and see quickly. In terms of the Premier League, Nation League, you played quite a few games in the Nation League, my guy. Okay, you played 26. Well, you had 26 appearances, 14 starts, 6 goals, 12% conversion rate. Big chances missed, 14. And he had 3 assists. So
was that 14 starts?
14 starts.
I mean, how many games did we play last season? 60 odd.
Yeah, we played games, boy.
There you go. You with the options. Look, Diaz was being selected ahead of him. That tells you everything you need to know. Let
me go and check this, brother. Nunez. I want to see.
The funny thing about Nunez, right? When people put together the highlight reels of the good moments and the goals, you think he's the best striker in the world, bro.
Can I get you just to have a guess how many starts he had and how many appearances? Nunez? Yeah, how many appearances and how many starts?
He probably had like. What was Jota's? What was Jota's appearances? 14 starts.
14 starts, 26 games. I think it was, yeah.
26 games. Nunez probably played 40 odd.
in the Prem wise.
Oh, in the Prem. I'm trying to remember that.
How many
28.
games and how many starts?
Oh, starts. Jeez. 5.
He had 30 appearances and 8 starts.
Yeah.
Do you know how many goals he got in those 8 starts? 5.
Wait, say we should have started him more.
And
we were wrong this whole time.
Guess what his conversion rate was as well?
Fucking like 40%.
No, not that high. His tax was 23%. His one was 15. So he's higher than last season's. He's higher than Jota's, to be fair. And he had 2 assists as well. Let me see how many big chances did he miss, though. Where's his big chances missed? Only 8. He did, bro. I told you we didn't use him. We didn't use him. Like, we know we need to replace him. But we didn't.
Well, yeah, but I've always maintained it. I think at the right club, he's a good striker. Because he's clearly got something about him. I'm not sure what it is, but he's got something.
Something, bro. Just don't know what it is. He created 3 big chances, had 2 assists, missed 8 big chances. Flipping hell, bro. 8 starts, that is deep. That is so deep.
Yeah, I mean, if there was ever, a moment where a manager just shown you were out of favour and he don't want you, it was last season, Slot and Nunez. It couldn't have been any more obvious, could it?
Wait, Anfield Saga. Yeah, no, he played 30 games in it, but in terms of him starting games, he only had 8 starts in 30. Like, that don't even make sense to me. That, like, it's so skewed one way than the other. It's mad. Like, you would at least go 15 starts minimum. Just go 15 starts down the middle, 15 starts, 17 starts down the middle. 8. I'd love to know if he's finished. Okay. I'd love to know the break.
The bar is very low if that's what we're expecting from our strikers.
And that's why I broke it down, because I even went, I don't remember if you saw the stream, but I went and checked how many shots they had in the Premier League. And both him and Jota were like on 30-something when I checked. And that was like game week 34. They had like 30 shots each. I'm like, that's so low. And I'm looking at all the other, like, wingers were like on 90-something. Salah was on 100 and something. I was like, you guys are on 30. You got less than like defensive midfield players. Yeah. Them people had the lowest. I think like Szoboszlai had more. Diaz, Gakpo had more. It was like, no, man. It's crazy.
Do you know there was a moment with Nunez playing under Klopp where I thought, do you know what? He's probably being asked to do too much. He's so used to being a striker, and he's probably being asked to sort of drop in and drift out wide, and he's probably trying to be too involved, and that's probably Klopp's doing. But then I can't convince myself that would be the case under Slot. Slot just he strikes me as somebody that would just have given him clear instruction. Minimize what you've got to do in the game. Let's focus on a handful of things, and that will be enough for us. And I think that's how it would have gone. And the fact that he didn't play means he obviously didn't do those things, And I just think I think Slot would have really wanted him to have done a job for him, obviously, rather than playing Diaz up there. He obviously didn't get out of him what he needed to. So I think the writing was on the wall for Nunez's departure for a long time. You're on mute, Ens.
Now, we were saying that Elliott is not liked by the manager, right? I want to see what his starts was. Because if he's not liked by the manager... let's have a look. Premier League starts at 2.
No, none of your business is coming.
He had 2.
I mean, we're laughing. I'd be happy with 2 starts for Liverpool, but
2 starts. Nah, bro, that's deep. Okay, 2 starts and he scored a goal, and did he get an assist? 1 assist or what? No, 2 assists. So you got 2 assists and a goal in the 2 starts. What was your conversion rate, my G? Where is your conversion rate? Right, doesn't even have a conversion rate.
Yeah, I'm not sure he took enough shots for that ends, to be honest with you.
No, I didn't. Oh, wait. No, his goal conversion rate was 6%.
Yeah.
Probably didn't hardly have any shots, to be fair to him. But then it should be higher, right? If he hardly had any and scored, well, but then it's going to be probably compared to the 18 games. So he had 18 games, 18 appearances, and 2 starts. Darwin had 30 games, but he only started 8 times. The rest of the time, he was just coming off the bench. All right, man. And then Salah is Salah. Don't even have to talk about him. He did what he did.
You seen he's growing his hair a little bit now?
Yeah. I've seen
this going for a little bit of a different look.
Yeah, he's trying to.
Do you know what? I was thinking about this the other day, right? He had a great season in terms of numbers, right? Performances we've discussed at length. But the Florian Wirtz coming in, right, is only going to spur him on again. Like, this guy is not going to step aside for somebody else to take the crown. It's not going to happen. So I'm expecting him to at least match the goal contributions next season. But actually, I think the performances, they should improve because you're playing with a better player in Florian Wirtz, right? It'll improve your game. But I think he's going to want to have that thing about him where he goes, no. Maybe when I'm gone, Florian, you can be the main guy. But whilst I'm here, it's me.
It's my crown.
And that motivation for somebody like Mo is, I think, that we should be excited about next season, because I think we could see yet an even better season from him, which is really exciting.
And then the smiley guy, man, the guy we bought last season but technically didn't buy. Chiesa. Let me go and check his. He's definitely gone. I'd have loved for him to get some more minutes.
Do you know what? He'll come up in a quiz in like 10 years' time, and it'll be like, name the player with a Premier League, name an Italian with a Premier League, medal that made 5 appearances and accumulated 6 minutes of game time or something like that, and you'll be like, what is that? You're like racking your brain through Italians that play for Liverpool. You'd be like, Aquilani, now he didn't win a title, and then, oh yeah, remember when we had Chiesa?
Yeah. Cav, this is diabolical, bro. 6 appearances, 1 start, averaged out to be 19 minutes per game, bro. 116 minutes, not one goal.
Fair play to him though. He's a proper pro. Just always happy, celebrated every goal, just never kicked up a fuss. I mean, obviously he wouldn't. Like, he got to train with Liverpool and win a Premier League and then dipped, but yeah.
0% goal conversion. He didn't know goals.
The thing is, I wouldn't be surprised if he just goes back to Italy and then he just has a great season, one of the best players in the league. You just wouldn't be surprised, would you? Yeah, Anfield Saga said it. Look, I tell you what, when we was at that parade, I heard no song more than Chiesa's. Jesus.
Yeah, Chiesa's song was going off, man. That once it started, he was just like, yeah, this is the tune. Yeah, we can't lose. Oh, man, I say we can't lose him, but he didn't offer anything for us to miss. Do you know what I mean? So, but I get it, man. But we didn't give him the opportunities like that. Do you know what I mean? Could be a player there if we just give him the chance to prove it. But
I think there is. I remember speaking off the back of like one probably 5-minute appearance, and I was like, he looks sharper today. Like there was this one game where he like just got this touch out of his feet and shot, and it was like direct with power, and I was like, yeah, look, that ability is still there. Obviously, we've seen the enthusiasm. He was running around like a headless chicken when he was playing, but like, he had that ability in their moments, and I was like, yeah, definitely still a player there, but just needs, I think, to see that is going to have to go somewhere else.
All right, man, we'll leave it there, I guess, bro. We went through the whole team and kind of got our takes on where do you think they'll be and who do you want to leave and who you don't want to leave. But I want he has to stay, bro. That's the biggest one for me.
That upset you, didn't it?
Yeah, bro.
I'm sorry I had to, give you that.
Do you know why? Because I know
reality,
you're gonna give me this Anthony Gordon guy, and I'm not like
No. I'm not. I'm not. I
Nah,
don't want
not
that.
you. I'm
I
just
don't
saying
want
that's who the rest of these guys are gonna want, man. They're gonna want Anthony Gordon, and it's gonna be like, I don't know, man. I don't know. I miss the old version of Diaz, and I remember saying Klopp is gonna make this guy into some European footballer, bro. He's gonna end up being so boring and predictable. And I was just hoping, I was praying, I was just like, maybe because he doesn't speak English properly yet, maybe Klopp can't communicate, maybe he just be a maverick the whole time. But then they just found a way in it, and he was Pep Linders because he could speak like 6 languages or something. So he turned him into a European baller. I was like, just leave him just to be the maverick. He'll be so unpredictable. He'll score.
Yeah.
I watched the Diaz for Colombia and I watched the Diaz for us at times, and I'm like, this ain't the same guy, bro. This is someone completely different. This ain't the same. The player, like, there's something stopping him from doing this. He plays with freedom. He plays like as if he's in love with the game again. But for us, he's like, I've got a job to do and I need to do my job. For Colombia, it's just like, let me just enjoy the moment. And I want him to get that treatment, because if you give him that, but yeah,
I don't know, man. I think
we'll just go kick and run, I guess. Kick and run. Just pure speed in behind. We'll do that. Yep. That's what we'll do.
Yeah. I'm with you on it, Ens. I wish we had the Diaz of old, but then the Diaz that we got last season took us to a league title. So
yeah, but he can still do that and still be the Diaz of old. He can still give you that. It's just all of a sudden now he has to just pass. He can't shoot when he wants to shoot. He looks up in the box, no one's standing there. To this day, I still remember having that still when I'm like, the guy, he beat 3 players, looked up and not one player was in the box. One was hiding behind someone at the back post, but he was outside the box. And then the 2 strikers were standing at the edge, just like, so none of you guys can run. It is what it is, man. But Cap, thanks, man, for jumping in, bro. Great conversation, man.
Yeah, no, it's been good. It's been good.
Hopefully you guys in the chat enjoyed it as well. Let us know in the comments, man. Who did we get wrong? Who do you disagree or agreed with? Apologies, couldn't go, into the comments as much as possible, but it was just so much into the convo, man. I had to stay there.
Fixtures been released Wednesday. Is that what?
Wednesday, bro. Wednesday. I might as well ask you this, and then we'll head out on that. Who do you want opening day? Because I asked everyone earlier. I see some people like, give us Man City away. I'm like, relax, bro.
No, I don't want that. Look, Man City are going to be back up there again next season. Rodri's back. I think I'm not too sure about the signings that they've made. But look, they've still got quality players, and they're not going to finish third again. Look, they're going to be right up there. Hopefully they finish second and we're top, but that's who we'll be competing with next season, in my opinion. So I don't want them first game of the season. I want to get a bit of rhythm, bit of flow in his flow before we approach that fixture. First game of the season, just give me the easiest fixture. I don't know who's coming up. I don't want Leeds because they'll be up for it. Yeah, give me Sunderland at home.
We always no matter who we get though, they're going to be.
Oh, we'll make hard work of it, no doubt about it. Yeah, we'll do decent in the preseason, and then we'll get to the first game. We'll just scrape high.
They can't even
5-4. I'm sick to death of these bloody high-scoring games against Norwich. Jesus.
Ipswich gave us a mad 45 minutes for that.
I know they did. I was sweating. I said, okay, it's going to be one of them seasons. All right.
Oh boy, little did we know we was going to just batter everyone. Burnley away? Nah, man, I don't know Burnley away. God. And they'll give us like the Monday night one as well. They'll give everyone will have the Friday and Saturday and Sunday. Be like, yeah, Liverpool, Monday night football. First Monday night football of the season. Liverpool away to Burnley. And it'll be raining. It'll just be randomly raining. Watch. And then Florian Wirtz will be like, oh, so this is what you plan to play. Yeah. Where the ball don't even stay on the grass, bro.
The Frimpong just slipping everywhere. Kirkes is off sliding into the audience. Yeah. Just give me a nice easy fixture to get us going. And
would you take it at Anfield? Just an Anfield game, first game of the season?
Yeah. Yeah.
Anfield, first game of the season. Would you want to kick the season off? Because normally they go Friday. Someone gets the Friday game, they kick the season off, and then everyone else kind of gets a Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Or would you?
I'm happy. I'm happy with the later kickoff on a Sunday. I'm all right with that. I don't like the Friday slot, and I don't like the Monday slot because it just feels like especially if you've come up against a newly promoted side, it just feels like it's the whole thing's set up for a giant killing. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't know. I think if you look back at the fixtures, that's probably not how things are panned out, but it's how it feels. So just give me. I don't want a 3 o'clock or on a Saturday. I've got stuff to do, but nice little Sunday 4 o'clock. I'd take that. That's decent.
R4 at Anfield, Sunderland.
Yeah, that's what
R4 Sunderland. Sunderland. Yeah. At least then the new boys can the Anfield crowd opening day, they can they'll be buzzing and then just smoke them like 7-0.
Mm-hmm.
And then everyone will be like, rah, okay, Liverpool mean business. That's all I want. Liverpool mean it? Yeah, we do. All right, man. Guys, I hope you enjoyed the stream. Catch you guys on the next one. Cav, love for always, man.
Cheers, man.
Peace, guys.